Hey superstars, it's your best friend Scott, and this is our annual obligatory national recap video. This is my 7th national. That is hard to believe, but I generally try to keep these things all low-key. They are a lot of fun, but I do realize that there are a lot of people out there that they want to go to a national, but they just can't, and I'm not one to rub it in, you know. I also realize that I'm very lucky, and I try not to take these for granted. If you wanted to go, but you couldn't, it was okay. But if you were there, wasn't that awesome? Such a good time, and I miss you guys already. Anyway, let's get into it. So Tuesday before the National, I was hoping that a big shipment of shirts that I had ordered for the show would arrive in time, but they never did. I couldn't tell you why. I ordered them in plenty of time, but they sat at the vendor for a while, and then when they did ship, they were delayed by weather a little bit. So that Tuesday, 4-Leaf showed up at my place, and that was around 5 o'clock, and then we went to Dave's Cosmic Subs for some delightful meatball subs, and wouldn't you know it, 4-Leaf talked a lot. Wednesday, we left my place around 7 a.m. We had a 6-hour drive to Chicago, and 4-Leaf talked and talked and talked about beans.
I love beans. How about you?
And corn and pigs and cows. And we had plans to meet Tony Black for lunch, but something came up, and he couldn't join us, unfortunately. But we still went to Portillo's without him, and it was delicious. But Tony, we missed you, buddy. We checked into our hotel, and 4-Leaf gifted me this sweet Alvaro Espinoza autograph. Then it was time to head over to the show. I stood in the big long line with all the grumpy people waiting to get my VIP pass, but I was happy because I was at the National, ready for a great week, you know? Once we got in, Diamond Yard George gifted me this beautiful signed Don Mossy photo with Ray Narleski and a fire extinguisher. It is nice. See, it says so right there, and I love it. My big target this year was a Hires Root Beer Larry Doby. Now, I searched around that night, mostly on my own, very focused looking for that card, but no luck. About a half an hour before the show closed, I noticed a stack of 1906 Fan Craze cards at William Chappell's table. The Addie Joss in that set was kind of a dream card that I had targeted last year at the National, but I never found it, and I kind of gave up on it, and I didn't think I would find it this year. But he had one, and it wasn't cheap, well above my budget, you know, and I'm kind of excited and kind of discouraged at the same time. I'm looking at this card, and I look over to my right, and Tony Southern Collector just happens to be standing right there. He looks at the card with me, and he strongly encourages me to buy it, like strongly encouraged. And he was right, and I'm so glad he was there at that moment in time, kind of like a cardboard guardian angel, if that makes any sense. So thank you again, Tony. I absolutely love this card. I've been after it for a while, but I've never actually seen one in person, and it's just gorgeous. I looked at the pop reports after the fact. I don't usually do that, but I was kind of surprised to find that there's less than 50 of these cards graded between PSA and SGC. These Fan Craze cards were part of a game. Most of the cards from this era were either candy cards or tobacco cards or strip cards, and the art on those sometimes isn't the greatest, but just being able to see this nice big photograph portrait of Addie, man, this is just something else. I am beyond thrilled to own this one. So thrilled that the first thing I did when I got home was put together this Fan Craze t-shirt, available now on reindeerstudios.com or the Etsy shop. Sorry to throw in a little commercial there. After the show, we made it over to the Lowe's Hotel Bar for the Misfits party. Super fun hanging out with everyone, and Rick from Vintage Oddball Cards bought 4 of my shirts to give away as door prizes. Thanks again, Rick. After the Addie Joss purchase, I kind of figured that I should behave a little bit. I still had the Hires Doby on my radar. That day, Rocket Rick reached out, and we had fun browsing the floor together, but I still had no luck finding the Doby. Then I had lunch with Eddie from Eddie's Cardboard Chaos, Doug from Don't Talk to Robots, and Andy from Flying Dutchman Cards. We went into the restaurant and we sat at a table that was right next to Jason from Everyday Card Collector and Sammy Thunder, who were finishing up their lunch. I had some delightful Nashville hot chicken and some tater tots.
Napoleon, give me some of your tots.
No, go find your own.
Come on, give me some of your tots.
No, I'm freaking starved. I didn't get to eat anything today.
After lunch, I walked the floor with Eddie for a while. It is really fun walking the floor with different collectors. Not only do you get to hang out, but you see how other people operate, and you learn a lot that way. To wrap up the show that day, I went to Prestige Collectibles to buy some fun Japanese Menko cards from Robert, and I found another Bozo Wakabayashi card. I really want to make more Menko shirts. The one I did do wasn't super popular, but this art is just so fun, right? Then we headed over to the YouTube Hangout where I was able to sell a couple shirts and Martin Diego cards, which I had Orlando sign a bunch for me, and I still have some of those left. But they shut that down right away, and I'm sure most of you have heard what happened with the YouTube Hangout. Before we ended up eating pizza on the lawn, Drew from Clean Sheep Shots gifted me a nice stack of stuff, including this Tomy, a 1980 Indians team card, a really sharp 68 El Tiante, that's an upgrade for me, and this Lou Boudreau envelope, and Rocchio and Ramirez, and a 1961 post Don Mossi, and a 1962 post Don Mossi. Awesome stuff, Drew. You're too kind. After the fireworks that evening, Four Leaf and I headed back to the Lowe's to hang out with Misfits Rick and Mangini and James and George, and Stove and Pepino Man were there as well. I was my usual quiet self, just kind of taking everything in, but Four Leaf sure talked a lot. Friday, the t-shirts I ordered actually showed up at my house on Thursday, so I had Mrs. Reindeer overnight them to the hotel for me, so we waited around in the morning for those. After they arrived, we headed to the show, and then after we tried helping Four Leaf find a Hank Aaron rookie, Mangini, Mike Petty, Rick, and I, we stepped out for a delicious lunch at Gibson's. After lunch, I walked around with Dan from Dan's Vintage Baseball PC. Don't be fooled by his fancy name. He really is a good, down-to-earth guy. I was still hunting that Hires Dobie, but sadly to no avail. While hanging out with Dan, I did notice these tickets from Eddie Murray's 3,000th hit game. Not really in my wheelhouse, but I thought to myself that Warren D and the CLE might like that. Warren couldn't make it to the show, unfortunately, but funny enough, shortly after I saw them, Warren texted me, and I told him about these tickets, and he asked me to pick one up, so I bought one for him and one for me. After the show, we went to Ash's dinner. It was super tasty and super fun. I had a really good conversation with my man Orlando before he had to leave, but it was the kind of conversation that really made the whole trip worthwhile for me. Wishing you all the best, Orlando. I love you, buddy. After Ash's dinner, Four Leaf and I kind of split up. He thought I was mad at him, but I really wasn't. He went to Filmington's party at a tiki bar, and I went to Steel City Dan's hotel room, where we had a fun time watching baseball and looking at baseball cards and hanging out with Dan and Sammy and B-Roth, Jason, Joe, Andrew, and Tony, and hoping I didn't forget anybody there, but I might have. After that, I met back up with Four Leaf at the tiki bar where he was just talking away. Then we headed back to our hotel. Saturday was another big day. I got to hang out with Maxa Jackson and Drew from Lefty and EV10. We looked at all sorts of cool pre-war stuff. Max and I, we got to hold the original Diamond Stars art that was used to make the Mel Ott and Jimmy Fox cards. I noticed at another auction house that you could hold Lou Gehrig's baseball bat, but for me, kind of just holding these original illustrations was way more of a thrill. Great to get to know Max and Drew a little bit better. Thanks, guys, for letting me tag along with you. Still no luck finding that Hires Dobie, though, but I had to step away to go set up at Four Collectors Vintage Trade Night. At the trade night, Tony Talks Cards gave me a little team bag. We got Rocky, Larry, and Bob. Super Sharp 1960 Rocky. Love that one. Luke Easter and Joe Sewell. Thanks, Tony. And then Four Leaf gifted me this Cleveland Browns team card and a Goodyear blimp card. This was a naval airship. That is super, super cool. And Matt from the Card Story gave me this 1954 Al Smith that was in his Four Collectors goodie bag. And then, wouldn't you know it, after all that searching downstairs, I finally found my Hires Dobie at trade night. Rumor has it that there were actually two up there, both graded 6, but this was the first one I saw, and I snatched it up as soon as I saw it. Such a cool card. Mission accomplished. I also bought another copy of the best card ever made, this Destruction Crew card. I got this one from Four Leaf for $10, and then at another table, I picked up another one for $3. So I made sure to let Four Leaf know that he overcharged me. I also picked up another Rocky Colavito rookie. Sales were great that night, sold plenty of shirts and a couple of paintings. 4 collectors did a fantastic job yet again, and I am so appreciative of all the support they've given me by letting me set up at their trade nights. It's been so helpful, so thanks again, you guys. I love you. Since I forgot to eat lunch and then didn't really have time for dinner, 4-Leaf talked me into stopping at Taco Bell on the way back to the hotel.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
On Sunday morning, we headed back to the show so that I could drop off a painting that I had sold the night before. We said our goodbyes to a couple people, and 4-Leaf's goodbyes, they took quite a bit longer than mine did, but then we eventually took off. We stopped for lunch at a place called Whammy's Burgers and Beaks in Munster, Indiana. It was delicious, and then we made it home right around 9 o'clock, I think. 4-Leaf talked a bit more before heading home from my place, and then I called it a night, and I slept and slept and slept. So that was my week. Big thanks to everybody who made it so special, all the besties who stopped by to say hi, all the people who let me hang around with them, all the meals, all the gifts, and all the support. And of course, thanks to my family who understands how special these nationals are for me, and they never put up a fuss when I want to go. Such an incredible time, as always. Now it's time to get back to work, so take good care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you real soon.